Hello, investors. It's Don Vandenbord, Chief Investment Officer with Revere Asset Management. Today is Monday, September 22nd, 5:41 p.m. Eastern Time, coming to you from St. Augustine Beach, Florida, with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. Market state continue to be in an uptrend. Check the trend gauge in the upper right. The coveted four green arrows, meaning market leaders, plentiful and acting well, and all the major indexes that we discuss in these videos trending above their short-term 21-day exponential moving average, medium-term 50-day moving average, and long-term 200-day moving average. So what happened today? Came into the morning with a mild gap down. And of course, everybody immediately starts to say, this is it. Here it is. We're going to pull back. Get ready. It's the end of September. You know that's bearish. And Rosh Hashanah begins tomorrow. There's an old Wall Street saying, sell Rosh Hashanah, buy Yom Kippur. Well, that didn't come to fruition. All dips bought today. The low put in within the first 15 minutes. Three waves up throughout the day, sparked by a midday report of a deal with NVIDIA and OpenAI that sparked the entire AI data center sector. And that's what happens in bull markets. Continue to ride the wave. That's what we're doing. We are not going to try to guess or pick tops. We've got our stops in place, and we continue to look for low risk entries on leading names. Here are the numbers on the day. The 21 over 21 list up an average of 7/10%, 10 up, 3 neutral, 8 down. The Turbo 12, same 12 as last week, up an average of 1.23%, 7 up, 5 down. The Big Eight up an average of 2/3%. The RG8 up 1/3%. S&P 500 up 4/10, equal weight, just slightly positive. Is that right? Yep, just slightly positive. NASDAQ 100 up 6/10, equal weight, up just a bit less. Dow up 0.14, mid caps. This continues to be the lagging index, down 0.1%. Russell 2000 up 0.6. Nice pullback and recovery off the 8 EMA after hitting highs last week. Got a little bit extended. Perfect pullback, bounce off the 8. We added to our position in house today on that, acting very well. Global 60/40 up 0.25%. Our flagship GROTECTION portfolio up 0.25%. Turbo up a few ticks above that, up 0.28%. Let's get into the charts. We'll start with the S&P 500. And if you can find something bearish looking about that, let me know what it is, because we are of the opinion that all-time highs in indexes are not bearish. Let's go to the RSP. I can find something a little bearish here. Early in the day, undercut the 21 EMA. By the end of the day, regained it. Notice how we're touching that over the last 3 weeks, but every touch of it gets bought. Relative strength line's terrible on equal weight S&P, however. NASDAQ 100, same as the S&P 500, all-time highs, not bearish in any way, shape, or form. Onto the Dow Jones Industrial Average, another all-time high. How about the mid caps? We said this is the laggard. It is. Holding the 21 EMA, however, definite relative weakness over the last 2 weeks. And the Russell 2000 small caps. There's the pullback, touch of the 8 EMA. Closed below last Thursday's high, but acting very well. How about some interasset correlation? We'll start with the VIX. Bit of a tick up in the VIX today, but nothing to be concerned about, with a 16 handle. The US dollar down a bit after a sell-off last week, and then a strong recovery Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, below the 50 and 21-day moving averages. Precious metals continue to rock. Another gap up on gold, up 1.7%. Gold stocks, another gap up after a really nice test of the 8 EMA, and then recover Friday, following through to the upside, up 2.72% today. Silver with a gap up, looking about as good. Not looking good, however, is crypto. Here's Bitcoin breaking the 50 and 21-day moving average, and ETHA, Ethereum, breaking the 21-day moving average, but holding the 50-day moving average. We're actually below the 50 on the 24-hour chart on Ethereum, however, we got stopped on half of our position in ETHA in GROTECTION, still holding the 50-day moving average for that remaining position. On to bonds. Broad bond index, tight range today, above the 21-day moving average, TLT, also with the tight range sitting on the 21. Yields slightly up with the price down. That's the 30-year. Here's the 10-year up slightly, yield up slightly with the price down. All right, let's get to the tail of the tape. Some news. I mentioned more all-time highs. Mentioned that Wall Street saying sell Rosh Hashanah, buy Yom Kippur. We'll see. Everything that the bears have thrown at the market, the bulls have deflected and continue to run. PCE inflation data Friday before the open could be market moving. He's coming into today with the strength. We switch the 21 to the 8 EMA on the NASDAQ and the Qs, staying above that and making all-time highs. Same thing with the Russell. Ninth day of the breakout on the day count. 14 days above the 8 EMA, 15 above the 21 EMA, and our expectations remain positive as long as those S&P 500 and NASDAQ 100 indexes stay above their 21-day moving average. As far as sectors go today, to the upside, XLK, S&S, that is tech, semiconductors and software, also solar, uranium, gold and silver stocks, biotech, and utilities. To the downside, basic materials, staples, and banks. Portfolio changes added to TNA in GROTECTION. Also, I'll talk about this more in future videos, calling this the Credo rule. I got stopped out on CRDO months ago and just watched it continue to go. And we've talked for forever basically about getting stopped on something, watching it go higher. When should we re-enter it? And for that reason, I bought back NVIDIA and Snow, which we were stopped out on last week. We'll show those charts momentarily. Trimmed ETHA, 1.65, volatility adjusted beta, 7.25% balance at risk. On to Turbo, added to TNA as well, trimmed Ethereum as well, sold SOLT, this is Solana ETF. Volatility adjusted beta 2.37, 7.15% balance at risk. But bottom line on the day, every dip gets bought, and that NVIDIA OpenAI deal sparked the AI data center names to highs, or not highs, to strong reactions intraday and into the close. Keys for tomorrow, keeping the same 8 EMA against all-time highs on the indexes. And it is Tuesday, which means we are sorry, it's not Tuesday, it's Monday, which means we are going to go through the updated 21 over 21 list and the updated Turbo 12 list. Let's start with the Turbo 12. It did not change since last week. Let's sort this by price strength today. Start off with IREN. Look at that run along the 8 EMA, up 8.4%. They signed another power deal. AAOI, tight, nice up base, coiled for a move, looking great. Rocket Lab pulling back but holding the 21-day moving average. Pan American Silver bounced off the 21 last week. Ion Q, massive move over the past week and a half after a beautiful breakout from that flat base. Carmen Holdings just trending higher along the 8 EMA. Bloom Energy continues no give back. Unity Software looking good. MET-C, big move up last Thursday. Subtle 2-day pullback after that. Tempest AI big ugly negative reversal. Um, Gapped up. They had an FDA deal, but sometimes things just get a little bit too extended, and some sellers came in. Credo pull back to the 8 EMA after a breakout above that tight 7 day shelf. And finally, Wayfair, uh, relative strength lagging slightly, but still going sideways over the last 2 weeks. That is your Turbo 12. Let's go to the 21 over 21 list. And here we go. We'll start off with what we own and then the rest. So Hood continues to make higher highs. Reddit, mild relative weakness over the last 2 days after a attempt to all-time high break on Thursday. Still looks great though. SE bounced off the 21 last week. MongoDB it's back above the 8, which is good after 2 days below it last week. Tesla uh, hitting the pivot plus 21% in less than 2 weeks. That's bullish according to the O'Neill rules. DoorDash 2 day pullback. MP Materials weak early, hit the 8 EMA, bounced, closed flat. Palantir pullback after 2 days up. NBIS strong above the 100 level. CoreWeave bounced off the 8 EMA with an outside day. That's what we own. We also own, let me show you this, that are not in the 2121 because the 2121 list is just full. Um, Here is that NVIDIA. Nice flat base now. We got stopped on part of a position for non-taxable accounts below the 50-day moving average last week. Regained it on Thursday and Friday with tight action. That deal that I mentioned closed near the highs, near the top of this flat base, up 3.9%. And then also Snowflake, which I got stopped out on last week, and 2 days below the 21-day moving average. Regained it Thursday and Friday, inside day today. Bought that back as well. So those are two that we own that are not in the 2121 list. That's not typically something that we do, but the rest of the 2121 is looking so good. I didn't feel any reason to light any of those names. Let's go through the rest of them. A Lab sitting on the 8 EMA after a pullback. Arista Networks tight for about 2 weeks. GDX continues to be just a beast, as well as STX. SoFi new highs also. AppLovin being bought up since its announcement on the add into the S&P 500. Credo pullback. We already discussed that. First Solar making new highs inside this nice up, which is really looking like a base on base now. Cloudflare undercut the 21 last week, now back toward new highs. Valero Energy riding the 8 EMA higher, and Carvana coming up to the top of this flat base, arguably a cup with handle. I'm not sure if it's quite long enough for that, though. Good stuff on leading names. I could easily go through 30 more that are acting well, especially some AI data center names that pulled back a bit, but had good days today, like VRT, also similar cup base there. VST moving out, plenty of names that got goosed on that NVIDIA open AI deal that was announced today. And that is going to wrap it. As always, like to hear from you. The email's don@revereasset.com. The phone's 855 Real Wealth. That's 855-732-5932. If you're interested in becoming a client, hit the contact us button on our website or emailed my partner Dan Stewart, dan@revereasset.com. Our flagship portfolio, GROTECTION, and its more aggressive cousin, TurboTection, designed to grow assets during uptrends, protect them during downtrends. We follow the rules, no questions asked. We detail what we do every night on video, completely transparent. Give us a shout if you're not up like 50-60% since November of 2023, you're not doing something right, or your advisor isn't, or you're not getting aggressive enough or protecting your account enough. But reach out to us if you're interested. And that'll wrap it for Monday, September 22nd. This is Don Vandenbord with Revere Asset Management, telling it like it is. Thanks for listening and have a great day.